So the steps to get a job offer. Well, the very last step before you get that offer is you want to impress the decision maker. That's really the object of the game. You got to get to the decision maker and then you need to impress him, her, or them. It could be multiple decision makers. And that's generally done through the interview, one or more interviews. But before you can get to the interview, you have to get to the decision maker. And that's usually where the resume comes in. That is sort of your admission ticket to the interview, or at least you hope it is. And before you get to the decision maker, you need to have a place to send your resume. You need to know what you're trying to achieve. So you have to find an opportunity. The best way to do that is through networking, relationships, knowing people that need the type of help and value that you can add. The worst way to do that is through just cold job postings. And I say that's the worst way because it's the least efficient and it requires a lot of luck. So I'm not saying you can't get a job that way. I've known people that have done that, but when I think back to all of the jobs that I have had, it is always been the case that the job I ended up getting was as a result of some kind of relationship that I had built. And so before all of that, you need to know your interests and abilities. The two of those together are important. You may have a lot of interest, you may have a lot of passion in a particular topic or a particular role, around a particular role. But if that interest is not aligned with the things that you are capable of, that's probably not a good career fit for you. That's not going to be a job that you enjoy or that you're going to be able to contribute a lot of value to where, hey, you're going to get promoted and make more money and have a promising career journey. So you need to know your interests and abilities. We are going to, as I said, focus most of today on the resume, but I am going to talk just for a few minutes in more detail about a couple of these. So when you're looking for an opportunity, here's a few strategies that I have used over the years. One thing is, I said the worst way to find a job is through blind applications or cold applying. But that doesn't mean there isn't value in reviewing jobs that are posted on job boards. I believe the value is in looking to see, well, what are people calling the things that you're interested in? What are people calling the things that you are good at? I am personally an industrial engineer. That is my undergraduate background. Industrial engineering is a very wide-ranging engineering discipline. And so it's important that I understand what terminology people are using when they are hiring people that do the sorts of things that I do, because it's not always the case that I can just go look for industrial engineer jobs. There's a lot of other jobs with different titles that fit the actual skills and abilities that I have. So keep track of the keywords and the job titles that resonate with you. You could throw these into a Google Doc or a Word file. And then keep track of the jobs you've applied to as well. I think that's maybe better in retrospect. It's also helpful, though, to remember where you have applied. It's a little embarrassing when you get a phone call from a recruiter in an organization and you can't remember if you applied there or why or what the job was for. So it's a good idea to keep some kind of record of the jobs you've applied to. And then years later, you might go back and look at where you've applied in the past. And that can kind of help you see the path that you've taken, where you started and where you're going. Maybe your skills and abilities are evolving over time, and you won't necessarily realize it until you go back and look historically at what was interesting you and where you were focusing your efforts back the last time you looked for a job. The next one, what are your constraints? Geography, industry, role, salary. So this is important to know so that, look, if you are willing to relocate, great. Then focus on the types of jobs that you're interested in, and regardless of the geography, go ahead and apply to them. But if you're constrained by geography, you do not want to relocate, you do not want to have a long commute, well, then you may need to reconsider some of the targets that you are looking at in terms of your job search. So if you're not going to move, well, maybe you have to take a job that's less ideal in terms of the actual work to be done because that's what's available near you. So another way to look at this is just be honest with yourself about what are your constraints and what's feasible and realistic. The most important thing when you are trying to find an opportunity, you want to find a contact inside the company. And this is where having a good, strong network is going to help you because it's going to make this easier. When it comes time to find a job, whether it's your first job or you're ready to move on to a new opportunity, or heaven forbid you get laid off or your position is eliminated, having that network in place is going to make it easier to find a contact inside the company to where now you can get your resume in front of that person, have a better chance of being interviewed and considered, and then hopefully getting an offer.